Donald Trump and his Israeli counterpart Benjamin Netanyahu have delivered an ultimatum to Hamas to accept a US plan for peace or be destroyed. The US president's 20-point plan, which has the backing of Israel, calls for an immediate ceasefire, a swap of hostages and detainees within 72 hours, and encourages Palestinians to remain in Gaza. But it's unclear if Hamas will accept the deal. It says it wasn't consulted and is now studying the proposal. We'll get reaction from the Middle East with our correspondent shortly, but we start tonight with Cayman Gok at the White House.
An agreement that could end the war in Gaza.
Are you confident, sir, there'll be peace in Gaza anytime?
Israel accepting a peace proposal put forward by the United States.
So this is a big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization.
I support your plan to end the war in Gaza, which achieves our war aims.
Under the 20-point plan, Hamas would release all remaining hostages, living or dead, in exchange for hundreds of detained Palestinians. The Israeli military would immediately suspend its operations in Gaza ahead of a staged withdrawal of its troops. Hamas would be disarmed and have no future role in Gaza's governance. A transitional body known as the Board of Peace would be set up, headed by Donald Trump and including former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, with the Palestinian Authority undergoing reforms so it can eventually take over. The US would also work with Arab countries to deploy a temporary international stabilisation force in Gaza. And unlike President Trump's previous suggestion that all Palestinians should leave, they'd be encouraged to stay, with humanitarian aid to be scaled up.
This is the closest we've ever come to real peace, not fake peace.
Arab countries appear to back the outline. The question now is whether Hamas, which was left out of the negotiations, will agree. And if not,
Israel would have my full backing to finish the job.
This can be done the easy way, or it can be done the hard way. But it will be done.
this is far from the first peace proposal put forward in Gaza's history, but none have led to a lasting peace. While President Trump's efforts to end the war have received broad international support, this plan lacks clarity around what long-term peace would look like. The Australian Prime Minister has welcomed the proposal.
Australia urges all parties to engage seriously with the plan and to work to bring its vision into reality without delay.
The families of Israeli hostages hope there will finally be an end to the conflict.
I'm more optimistic, though I'm still a bit afraid to be this optimistic.
Under the proposal, Gaza would remain surrounded by Israeli troops, and it states there could one day be a pathway to Palestinian statehood.
Trump promised that there will be peace. He said that there will be peace and the hostages will be released. But we as Palestinian citizens, where are we in this equation?
Gazans left to wait and see if a decision in Washington could determine their future. Cayman Gok, ABC News, Washington.
Let's bring in our correspondent Matthew Doran now in Jerusalem. Matthew, Hamas says it's now considering this deal. Is there any indication of whether it's likely to accept the proposal?
Jeremy, good evening. Not at this stage, and we do need to remind our viewers that Hamas insists it was not given an advance copy of this proposal before the US President and the Israeli Prime Minister stood up in the White House and heralded it as a breakthrough. The militant group is likely to have serious concerns around a number of elements here, including the immediate release of all the remaining 48 Israeli hostages during a 72-hour period, the vague statements about the pathways to Palestinian statehood, and the phased but not immediate and total withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza, something Hamas has repeatedly demanded, but which the Israeli Prime Minister insists he will not allow. Benjamin Netanyahu not taking questions at that press conference with Donald Trump, but releasing a video a short time after outlining an ongoing Israeli presence in Gaza. It's important to point out this will also be criticised in Israel, even amongst the own Benjamin Netanyahu's own coalition cabinet. The finance minister Bezalel Smotrich is already labelling this a total failure of leadership. So as Benjamin Netanyahu flies back from the US to Israel, he's in the air as we go to air. The next steps for Israel and for Hamas are anything but clear. Jeremy?
Matthew Doran reporting from Jerusalem.